As you now know, our next guest needs no introduction. If you're a baseball fan, well, you know his bio. He started as in law school at UCLA, became one of the most prominent sports entertainment agents of all time, also was a member of the U.S. anti-doping agencies, a conversation we'll have later. And he also talked and worked with Kevin Towers at the Arizona Diamondbacks front office. That's just the stuff we could fit on the screen, Barry. I don't mean to short sheet you there, but welcome to KUSI. It's cool.
Thank you.
Would you like to respond to Mr. Hoffman there?
I've learned a long time ago, first of all, he's tough to follow, and second of all, he always gets the last word.
Yes, he does. While we're on the topic of Hall of Famers, I guess the news of the day prior to Hoffy joining us was the passing of Frank Robinson, the first black manager, who also was, I think, number 10 on the all-time home run list. I assume your paths have crossed.
They did. I did interact with him a little bit when he was in the Orioles front office, but I can remember watching him as a kid with the Cincinnati Reds against the Dodgers and seeing the great duels between he and Don Drysdale where neither one would give an inch. They were both tough as nails, and Robinson would crowd the plate and Drysdale would hit him, and the next time out Robinson would hit one out to center field. It was two Hall of Famers going at it.
The reason we extended our invitation prior to Frank's passing was everywhere you go, the rumor mill is, oh, the Pods are in the hunt for Bryce Harper, the Pods are in the hunt for Manny Machado. I've been here 20 years. I have learned to be a little jaded about whenever I hear insiders say, I assume you're still connected to people who are involved in these decisions. Should we be cautiously optimistic, or should we just treat it for what it might really be?
I just think you can learn a lot from past history, and I don't know that San Diego's the only place this kind of thing goes on. I think there's so little news going on now that in the baseball world that, you know, spring training hasn't begun, the winter meetings are over, and we have to find things to talk about, and everybody's talking about where are these guys going to go.
Would it make economic sense for the Padres to dish out that kind of money, knowing what their payroll's like?
If you're talking about the rumor that Harper has an offer of $300 million over 10 years, it doesn't make sense to me, honestly. I don't want Scott Boras to get mad at me or Dan Lozano, who represents Machado, because they do a great job and they're trying to do the best for their client. But from my point of view, I think you're looking at disappointment at some point during the contract. You're overpaying.
Has baseball analytics playing a role in that? Are people now looking at the numbers so closely that, hey, it doesn't make sense to dole out that kind of money over that period of time?
There may be some analysts who plead that case, but there are still teams who pay that kind of money. Giancarlo Stanton, most recently got that kind of money, and I don't know if the Yankees regret it or not, paying him that much money these days, but you hear rumblings.
Well, they can absorb any bad mistake, though, any bad contract. It's seemingly that they have a bottomless pit. But are other baseball owners getting wise that it just doesn't make sense to be on the hook for that kind of dough over that period of time?
I think ownership in baseball has transitioned from being sort of the families, the O'Malleys or the Griffiths or whoever, into businessmen. Two of whom are Ron Fowler and Peter Seidler. And I think by definition, they know how to run a business, how to make money, and I think they run the team like a business, and therefore maybe they are a little more analytic than previously.
It seems like, I know you're in the business of protecting your client's interests and doing the best for him, his long-term security. But how about the other end of it, owners who, like for instance, there's all those guys that get hurt at home. I mean, there's all crazy stories. Why should owners be on the hook for a player who cuts his thumb off in the kitchen table or gets suspended for drugs or whatnot? Shouldn't there be a little give and take there, as for there should be a little more protection for the teams?
It's all about leverage. I had some premier free agents over the years, and when they say, well, what'll it take to sign him? You say, well, it'll take X amount of dollars and fully guaranteed. And that means no matter what. There are provisions about there's certain activities you can't take part in.
Hang gliding or something?
Skydiving, bungee jumping, skiing.
San Diego as a market, is it an easy sell or is it a tough sell? Is the city and the team two different things?
Yes, and I think, in a sense, and I think that people in San Diego don't necessarily understand that it's a tough sell. We have a beautiful ballpark. Obviously, our weather, the setting, the environment here, it's where I choose to live and where you choose to live. But, you know, athletes want to win, and the one-loss record comes into play. And we were discussing earlier the economics come into play. We have a high state income tax here.
Well, we were going to go there. I mean, is it easier? California's got to be a tough sell, right?
And I used to have 16 or 17 factors we would look at as a free agent. You know, school systems even came into play sometimes, or the ballpark itself, or the minor league system was very important. Who your manager and coaches were important. But part of it was cost of living and state income tax. And, you know, $30 million a year in California doesn't go as far as $30 million in Texas.
Why is baseball's players' union so much stronger than the NFL's?
Because of the unity of the players and the disparity of ownership. In football, the owners are true partners. They all share equally, and most of their revenue comes from their national television. In baseball, a bulk of the revenue comes from their local TV contracts. And when the Yankees have a TV contract worth 10 times what the Padres is, or 5 times, I don't know the exact numbers, it creates some disparity on what the owners are looking for, and that allows the players to be unified, whereas in football, I think it's the owners are unified and the football players are a little disparate.
At your peak, how many people were you repping at the absolute peak of your career?
Once I left the firm I started with, I was usually around the number of 15, which is what I felt comfortable with.
Man, that's got to be hard to divide it up amongst 15 people. Your attention.
Some need more than others.
You also Hollywood and athletes. Which is harder? Which is the bigger divas, the athletes or the actors?
Oh, they're all divas. I always say there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness and insecurity, and you know,
yes,
you got to keep them on that tightrope.
Well, we can't let you go without bringing your dear friend. You negotiated across him. You from the table from him. You worked with him in Arizona. Could you please share with us the Kevin Towers story you shared with us on Facebook, because that made me laugh really loud.
Well, you asked what Kevin was famous for his nicknames.
Yeah. What was your nickname?
I had 2. One was Bear Hole, and the other was Bimbo. And the way Bimbo came about was that we were on a trip with some friends, and we were in Las Vegas and having some fun at a party, at a VIP party. And the other people that were there were bull riders and female bodybuilders, and they were all sort of much shorter than the rest of us. And all of a sudden, there's people gathering around me, and I hear Kevin talking, and he's saying, yeah, you know, you think I was good at what I did. This guy was a legend in his day. And I'm thinking, okay, what's this all about? He had them convinced that we were retired rodeo clowns and how many bulls we had fought and how we had done it. And his names for us, he told them. I was Arlo and he was Bimbo, so I became Bimbo.
Barry, thank you very much. We're out of time. Tonight on the ASR, we're going to have a bunch of prep stuff. A big thank you to Barry Axelrod for making it in. 5 p.m. newscast has concluded. The 6 p.m. newscast is about to begin.